Well, gentle people, welcome to part 4 of the Winter Project series, which is going to turn into the Spring series and then the Summer series, because we got a long way to go. Getting ready to do our next set, and I know they're upside down. That there's the bottom and that there's the top. And I'm not going to fuck with them right now because I've got a problem with them, other than being upside down. They're frozen together. I had a hell of a time getting them in here because the clusters were just too big, and I ended up breaking several of the panels because of the ice and snow on them that were frozen, like those 1-foots over here. There's 3 1-foot panels behind them, totally broken in half because of the ice and the snow. So, I can't go very far on these today. I've got that heater out here pointed over at them, and I'm going to bring out another heater, and I'm going to let them sit overnight, and hopefully after sitting overnight in the warmth, they'll thaw enough to where I can get them apart tomorrow and actually start working on them. But other than that, that's what we're working. These panels here are Gypsy Hall panels, and these are going to get totally freshened up and a totally new look. And we'll cover that when we start getting into the paint end of it. Fun, fun, fun. It's always fun, fun, fun. But Gypsy panels are our next project. I've got the ex-Pirate Hall panels out put away and got these in here today. That's what I've been working on. I also pulled out paint that I'm going to need for this project. I got some brown, I've got some gray, I got black, I got gold, I've got red, and I got a lot of red. Some of it's part cans, some of it are brand new cans that never been opened, which will all get mixed up and we'll get rid of some of those cans. But we're slowly getting things set to start on these next panels. And like I said, until these thaw, I can't do anything. Okay, it's about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours since I did the last segment. We've had that heater, and I got a little radiator heater out here. There was enough to warm it up in here. They all broke loose. I was able to sort them out. Now I've got, like with the photo haul, I've got 3 specialty panels. This display was at one time in the rose bed. So I got 2 that are cut off a little short. I got another one with a notch in it down there that goes over the irrigation pipe. So those are a keep. I've also got some specialty panels, or not specialty panels, but plain panels. This is what I call a plain panel here. In other words, it doesn't have a pillar in it. And what I need, I haven't counted yet, I need 20 of these without the pillar, and I need 20 of them with the pillar. I ain't even close to having enough to get my 40. Those there are damaged ones. I got a nice little pile of them. And they've got, you know, broken edges, the eyepieces have been broken out, or there's chunks out of them. Or there were a few in there that Kaylee, as a puppy, originally got a hold of. And it was ones I got away from her before she destroyed them all the way. And there was just too much damage along the bottom of them, and they need to be remade. But I can use them to cut them down into 1-foot panels and the cap pieces. As it stands now, though, with what I've got in here in the shop, I have no 1-foot panels whatsoever. The ones I did have broke because of all the ice and stuff on them when I tried to move them. So I'm going to have to make up some 1-foots. I think what I'm going to do now these are broken apart and it's getting to be later in the day, so it's okay. I won't spend all day soaking wet. I'm going to drag these out, give them a bath, you know, hose them off, get the dirt out. And some of them are really, really dirty. There's just no way I can paint them or do the caulking for repairs on them in the condition they're in. So I'm going to get them out, I'm going to give them a washing, and I'll get them back in here for them to dry. And I'll take a look and figure out how many panels I'm going to need to carve. This pattern is probably one of the most complicated patterns I did originally, and not really looking forward to remaking any of them. Half tempted to say the hell with it, scratch on and start all over from scratch with a different pattern. But with all the time and labor and money I have in on them, I don't want to do that. What makes them so difficult is this pattern up here. Reminiscent of the photo haul, you know, I did the wallpaper look on it. But instead of having just a little pipette on it, I've got multiple, and it's just pain in the ass. So anyway, we're going to get going, see what happens, see how far we get. Okay, today has not been my day. Still day one of this build, and this is the third segment. Been running into little problems. First, it was the panels were all frozen together, and some panels got broken. We got that taken care of. I brought them in here, put the heaters out. I showed you that last segment. They de-thawed. So I went through, sorted them out, got a count on what I needed, took them out, put them on the driveway. I was going to get them washed so they could dry overnight so I could start the caulking tomorrow. Guess what? Hose was frozen solid. It had been sitting out in the cold weather, and it froze. So I have the hose in here. It's going to have to sit overnight and let it de-thaw. So I'm going to have to do some washing tomorrow. So I didn't get things washed. I didn't get as far as I wanted to today. I did, however, have a bunch of damaged ones that were going to need to be replaced. So I went, and like I've done with the other two sets, went through, whacked them down. I was able to get 6 1-foot panels all together out of it. I'm going to need to make up 6 more. I need 12 1-foot panels for every set. And I had enough to do caps. This one has 9 caps to it. So we got a little ways. You know, I got that stuff done. And then that pile of pink. Time I got done doing all my counting, I need 23 more panels altogether. And we're going to have to change up the design. Usually I do what I call a blank panel, which is this pattern here without the pillar on it. And then I do one with the pillar, then I do another blank, then another pillar, another blank, you know, every other one. So technically I should have 20 blanks and 20 pillars. I didn't get washing done. So that's going to have to wait till tomorrow. That hose is probably about halfway de-thawed now. But it's almost dinner time, and I'm not going to wash panels in the frickin' dark. It's because it's getting too late in the day. Sun's going down, I'm losing light. So tomorrow I'll get out here, we'll get things washed, and then I'm going to have to bring those panels in. They're going to have to sit in here for a while and dry, a day or two. So while they're drying, I can switch over to these here, and I can start sketching the pattern out on them. Then they can go in the house to be carved. So we'll have to see where tomorrow brings. Hopefully we have more luck tomorrow than we did today. We've had some luck. The hose de-thawed. We got all the panels washed. I've got them moved back in here. Washed them yesterday morning. Ended up with a coat of ice all over the ground from the hose. It was only 33 degrees out, and I'm out washing panels. I got started on them. And as you can see, that's the pillar. That's the way the pillar looks before I start my carving. I got to looking at it. This set, this complete set, is the most complicated pattern I have done. There's a lot going on between the pillar, you know, I got the base with the fluting on it, then I've got the bone field, and then you got the wallpaper with all its complicated detail on it. And then the 2 damaged areas, and then even the wainscoting. Chair rail and wainscoting down here is complicated. So I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one aspect at a time. So for right now, I'm sketching out just the pillar. And I've got 9 of them done. Or at least I think I got 8 done. Excuse me, I got 8 panels done. I got number 9 on the table. So we ain't called dinner last night. I called it quits. I'm still working on the bone field. It takes about a half hour to sketch out just the pillar on this, and it's because of this bone field. It range anywhere from 25 up to 35 individual bones on the field, depending on what pattern I do on them. And it takes about a half hour to sketch it. The lower half takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, if that, and the top part takes about a half hour. So there's about an hour and a half, roughly, per panel, just getting the pattern sketched out on it. A lot of work. I've got a grand total of 23 panels to do. So right now I'm going to get the 11 sheets done with the pillars on them. Then I'm going to come back through and we'll go through everything, all 23 panels, and we'll do just the wainscoting, getting that laid out. And then once that's done, I'll go back through the 23 panels and we'll get the wallpaper section done with the damaged areas and this intricate pattern on it. So, going to be time consuming. Well, we've got another snow day, another storm's blowing through. We got about, another 4 inches of snow out there. We're going to end up having to shovel, and it's still coming down. We haven't done too bad. We've got in here, and those are the first ones we did. We got the pillars done, and I got the wainscoting done on that one. And these are our plain panels. Got the wainscoting done on that. Wainscoting went real quick. That was an easy pattern. Our next step now is up here. That's where these go. A series of those up and down the panel. And I remembered why I hated doing these. The pattern on these, like up in through here, it's really hard to trace out. You can't use a Sharpie. The tips are too wide, so you lose a lot of the detail. And even with a pencil, it's a pain in the ass to do. Takes forever, because there's quite a few of them up and down that panel. So I decided I was going to try something new yesterday, and I did one panel. I went and got my airbrush out, mixed up some white paint, a diluted down white paint. It's basically the same stuff I use for primer coating. And I went and put these up on the panel, and I just shot them in. And it works okay. It gets the pattern up with where everything is. I think once they're dry, I'm going to come back through with a Sharpie, and I'm going to trace the outline, kind of clean them up a little bit. Now, when I originally did this pattern, I did the old-fashioned one. In fact, you can see it there. I did a couple of them with a pencil, and I just went through and I traced out the pattern with a pencil, and then came back through and highlighted it with a Sharpie and went over the second time with a Sharpie. It took frickin' forever because I was doing the pencil and then the Sharpie, on the panel. Spraying it gets the pattern on the thing a lot quicker in a fraction of the time. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, I'm still going to end up having to go over it twice. I'm going to go through and spray everything with the white and then come back through with a Sharpie and do my outlining, because there's a little bit of fading here and there on them, and I can do that. And then I got to come back through and get the damaged areas put on. So, but anyway, we got one panel done. I've got 22 more in here I need to do. But I think today we're just going to work on spraying. We'll just keep going till all the spraying's done, and then we'll come back through and do that Sharpie outline. It's going to take a while. As I said in the other segments, this is the most complicated pattern I've got out of all the wall panels, and why I like, the look of it, and I think with the new paint jobs we're going to do on them and everything is going to look really cool. It's just a pain in the ass to do. And I think once I get done with this project and get them all back up to 40 count, if down the road I ever need to make up more of these, I'm just going to trash the whole thing and do something different for the Gypsy display. This is just way too much work. Okay, now, as far as the project goes, it's been about a week and a half since I shot the last segment. I've been busy. We've gone through And I've got all the maintenance. I got all the screw holes filled and stuff on all the panels. So those are done. I've also gone through, finished. In fact, let's get you in the house. So our next step is in the house. We're actually ready for a new stage. So get you in the house, we'll fill you in there on where we're at. Okay, after I got the maintenance done outside, I went through, I covered in one of the last shots, I went through and I painted in the graphic for the wallpaper. Turned out looking like that, no trace lines on it. And I could have left it like that and started my carving. The one thing I find, I like having the outlines well defined, so I like using a Sharpie for doing it. Because when I'm carving, you get all the pink snow, all the scrap from carving, and it makes it harder if you don't have a really distinguished line to follow with the Dremel to see the pattern, and the all the scrap would cover up the tracings or the painting I did. So I went through and redid the pattern with a Sharpie, just following the outline to make it more exact. I literally just finished that. It took about 5 days to do 23 panels. This wallpaper pattern is so complex. It takes about an hour and a half to go through and retrace it all, you know, to make sure everything's exact the way I want it. And now I'm ready for carving. Now I went in, I got my Dremel sitting there, but what I need is a depth gauge. And I've showed this in some of the other vlogs, just a chunk of foam. What I need to do with my Dremel is go through and figure out the depth of everything. The damaged areas are the deepest cuts. So I need to set the Dremel for the deepest cut and score a line on the edge of the foam. Then go through and figure out the depth of the pattern on the wallpaper, which I just got done tracing, and then score another line on here for that depth. And then this section on the pillar where the bone is a different depth. The wainscoting's a different depth. The line I use to do the fluting on the pillars is a different depth. Each one of those I need to set into here. Once they're set, I won't need that panel in here anymore. Every time I get ready to do a different area, I can just pull this out, match my depth, do it, and keep going. It helps speed up time considerably. I've got roughly 23 panels to do. 11 of them with the pillar, 12 of them without the pillar. Okay, I've gotten 2 panels done. Only 2. First one I used kind of as a test to make sure I got all my depths and stuff right, and they're close. The second one I timed. And here's the raw form of it. I still got some cleaning to do in here to get some of the burrs and stuff off. But all the depths and stuff are almost identical to that panel. That's one of the original panels. And they're very close to being identical. I still need to come back through here and sand it. If you notice, like on this piece here, I rounded the edges off. I did the same thing on the chair rails, and right now they're looking square. I still have the fluting to do, and all I've got is lines there. And then I've got the bone to sand down, which I haven't done. And then the face of the wainscoting itself. That I will do after I get all the carving done. Right now, as is, with the way this is now, it takes 4 hours to get that pattern carved. Now I remember why I don't like this pattern. Alright, now we've got the carving done, finally, and it took a while. It's time to move on to the next step. I got a pencil up here getting ready to start it. This is on this part of the pattern, and this is the part that doesn't have the pillar on it. It's a 2-stage process. Basically, we're going to be using just a sanding block, and we've got to go over this surface and then this surface down here on the wainscoting, and I want to get it sanded smooth. I want to get all the Dremel lines and stuff taken out of it. Then I also, on the original set that I did, I went through on the bone outwork here and did the sanding pad at an angle and beveled that part. And I also did the same thing up here between the wainscoting and the chair rail. So it's just basically sitting down and sanding. The upper section up here doesn't get any sanding whatsoever. I do need to go over it after I carved it, and there's some, little bits of foam still kind of stuck in here. I need to go through and kind of clean that out. I don't know if I'm going to do that now or during the painting process, but that's fairly quick, fairly easy, just going through and snipping off all the little bits of foam. Okay, sanding's done. This is the first panel. Only took probably about 20 minutes to get everything sanded. I went through and scalloped over the edges on the detail on the chair rail and on the wainscoting. Now before I put this away, I'm going to do the last detailing on it, and it involves these. They're just little round foam balls I've taken, cut into half, and put a toothpick in. And where these go are right in here. And I'll put 2 of them in there and they'll look like eyeballs. Now to attach them, what I'm doing is I'm putting a drop of Gorilla Glue on it, setting them down in, and then pushing the toothpick in. And that will hold them into place until the Gorilla Glue dries. And on the plain set, and as I said earlier in the vlog, the plain set or bare set, blank set, doesn't have the pillar. There's 3 damaged areas on the wainscoting and 3 damaged areas up on the wallpaper area. So I've got 6 altogether. It's going to take 12 of these half foam balls, and then I'll just go through and I'll get those all put in. Put the panel over there. We'll grab another one from the stack, put it up on the table, and just repeat. And just keep going until all 23 panels are done, or I'm out of foam balls. Oh, as you can tell from the behind me, we're back out in the shop again. And hold on a minute, you guys are just a little bit dusty. Needless to say, we got all our work in the house done. Everything's been carved and sanded, and I really didn't touch on the sanding much. But I think I could do that now. I used 3 different methods of sanding on the panels. For areas like in here and the molding on the chair railing, I just used a piece of sandpaper folded over. For the flat sections on here, I just used a sanding block. And to do the fluting on the pillars, I just used a 1-inch wooden dowel with a piece of sandpaper wrapped around it. Now, if you remember when I carved it, I carved some lines down it, real shallow lines too, and that was to act as a guide for the sanding block. But it's just a matter of going over that and getting them all done. But everything's been repaired, carved, sanded, what have you. We're now ready to start in on paint, and just like all the other ones, all the other patterns I've done so far, we're gonna start out with the same thing. Everything's getting a good healthy coat of white, and then once all the white's done, we'll get in to start shooting the finished colors on here. Now weather-wise, we've got spring. Up to, what was it, March 14th, it was averaging in between 30 to 40 degrees outside. We still had huge piles of snow all over the place. Since the 17th, temperatures shot up. It's been in between 60 to 70 degrees outside. Guess what happened to the snow? It melted quite a bit. We still have some piles here and there, and piles scattered throughout town, but the snow is melting. With the temperature running around 66 outside, my shop, and I've got one little heater going, a little radiator heater going in here, is hovering at about 75 degrees, which is going to be nice for the paint, because that means the paint is going to dry a hell of a lot quicker. So I should, hopefully, if I can get out here early enough tomorrow morning, get the first half sprayed, and then I can go do something else and come back tomorrow afternoon and get the second half sprayed white. Have everything primer coated tomorrow, provided the weather holds. That's the plan. I'm hoping with all the spraying I've got to do, I think there's like 42, 43 panels on the 2 foots to do. And there's basically 3 different colors I'm shooting. You know, first off the white, and then the top part's going to be a different shade of red. Bottom part, instead of being gray, is going to be brown. You know, and then the pillars and everything else. But I got white, red, and brown to shoot on here. And if the weather holds good, it should take me about 3 days to get everything sprayed. Well, as you can see from the backdrop, we're back downstairs. That's because painting is done, or at least the base coats. We did a light brown down below and the red up top. Now I'm getting ready to do the detail work. I only brought the panels in that don't have the pillar. These are the simpler patterns to do, even though there's a lot to do. Let's see here. I've got the bones here that need to be painted white. The cracks and damaged areas, both here, here, and up. Here, get out of the light, that would help. Here, will get black. The eyeballs get painted as well. They're going to be a lime green with either red or blue iris on them. I'm not sure which. And then we've got the detail on the wallpaper as well. That also needs detailing. Oh, and then the chair rail, the raised portion on the chair rails will be getting painted as well on this one. So I'm getting ready to do that now. We're going to get started on the damaged areas here and the cracks, and we're going to go ahead and get those painted on all the panels, and then I'll come back through with the next color, do that color on all of them. Well, it took about a week and a half. It's now April 2nd, and we got the first half of the panels done. We'll back up here, turn on another light here, and I think we're going to go like this. There you go. Now you can get a better view of them. I know, wonky camera angle. And if I remember in editing, I'll flip the picture. But there's the first half. Detailed. Looks a lot different like that. Now, wonky again. And back to my ugly puss. This is the first half. I still got another 22 panels out in the shop. They have the pillar down the center. So far, those have just the red and just the brown done. I gotta get them in here and get them to look like this. I gotta detail it. Detailing was done partially by brush, partially by airbrush. And there was a lot of touch-ups. God, I'll be glad when I'm done with this. This is the hardest pattern. And I've said that a couple of times in this vlog already, and you guys are probably tired of hearing. I'm probably tired of watching this vlog, because this vlog is going to be long as hell. Well, dear friends, last segment for this vlog. Though we're not quite all the way done with the project yet, but we're close enough to call the vlog good. Just got done with the second half of the 2-foot panels. And we'll go wonky here. There you go. There's the pillar panels. Yeah, first set was the one without the pillars. And we'll get you a little bit closer look there at the bone field on it. And then the rest of the pillar going down. Okay, going wonky again. For the most part, the panels are done. I've still got 12 1-foot panels and the caps to do. It's going to take about a week, maybe less than that, to get them painted. And this project will be done and we'll be on to our next pattern, which will be the water room, which is for the next vlog. Next vlog will be on the water room panels. And we'll cover in that one what's going to be going on, and there'll be a side project to it. But far as this goes, we started this pattern on February 19th. The other two sets each took about a month. It is now April 13th. It's taken 2 months to do these panels. This is the most complicated pattern I have, and most of my time on these panels was taken into carving. Carving the new panels. That's what ate up a lot of the time. There was a lot of carving. Painting wasn't so bad. It took me about a week and a half to go through and get these things all detailed, touched up, what have you, and I literally just finished. So, not too bad. If you've made it this far into the vlog, I know there's a lot of footage, and it's been a long vlog. I'd like to say thank you for your attention. Hopefully you didn't learn anything in this vlog, because I really didn't teach anything. But I'm going to let you go. Like I said, next vlog we'll probably be starting filming in probably about a week on that one, and I'm hoping sometime middle of May to have it done. So with that, we're going to say stay spooky, stay toxic.